and he's got a big daddy
Or
truck.
trailer life, like van life, but with trailers.
Yeah, you gotta live that van life.
That's
maybe.
even lower class than van life.
These are like
Alright.
campers,
like
travel trailers,
It's like a
Oh,
co-op
okay.
thing. One guy
Okay.
has the fucking truck, and then you have a van. You take the engine out, so now you got a much bigger space in your van to live in.
You
The other
live
guy
in the
tows
engine compartment.
Okay, so then in the
Mad Max.
poverty ladder, private is van, and then private first class is trailer. Like still very low on the meter. Like Mac and Charlie would even agree that that's what.
Now, if you converted a regular van to be a living space versus converting a utility trailer to be a living space, which is lower?
Oh man, what kind of
What's a
utility?
utility trailer?
Like one of those hallmarks that like the back door goes up and shuts. Would you like me to find a picture?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, like
Uh,
Like a
I'm
pop-up
picturing
camper.
the kind of thing.
You know what a pop-up camper is? It's like flat and then it like pops up, as the name would suggest. I knew a guy who lived in one of those back on someone's property. That was so pathetic. That guy would
you
like.
guys are gonna laugh at this, but people take things in this class and convert that into a living space.
Oh my
Oh
god!
man, no,
Oh my god! That's like the guy I was just talking about is pathetic. That's so much worse than what he lived in.
I have a friend,
there's
like
no,
a third
at least
friend who
vans
did
have
that.
Windows.
Would you need a
This
better
is-
class of friends.
I envy him. I like his trailer. I think it's
This is
This
hobo
is-
life.
he has an air conditioner
This is
mounted in his
beyond-
side.
Mad Max would not live in that.
It's
would
He
cool.
told one of the
Hey,
No, it's great, and he went on this thing called.
bum fight winners. They were like, you can either choose to live in this trailer we've renovated for you, or you can take the 30-pack of Bud Light. Yeah, we'll take the 30-pack Bud Light. Yeah.
No, it's
Are
cool.
you sure?
It's cool. It has an
It
air
has a window.
conditioner. It
Don't
has
talk to me
like
again, I'll bite your nose off.
solar, and it's got batteries in it, and like a refrigerator. It's insulated, and he can tow it. And
I'm excited about the insulation. How thick is the insulation? How much living room do you lose for insulating this?
It's an
They
inch
won't fit
thick.
the
It's
screens.
you don't know like the
Yes.
foam core 1-inch insulation you would get at Home Depot that comes in 4x8
Yeah.
sheets. I
Do
don't
you
know.
have that as a
Insulation,
percent volume?
Wall Street journals taped together. Probably the
You say
same
tomato,
thing,
I
right?
say tomato.
Yeah, you
Just
stuff it when
upturned
newspaper.
egg cartons taped to the
Yeah, they put insulation on the side, then they'll like panel it, with wood paneling and make it look first class.
This is so.
God, I think it'd be fun to hook.
We have to fight it.
But
We all do.
it's not the trailer that I love so much. It's the adventures. It's the I think to myself like, well, what would I do? I just get hotel rooms. But no, these people are staying in places where there aren't hotel rooms, and they're waking up to the sunrise and doing their thing. And by the way, you get a hotel room. What if I go to bed at like, I don't know, 10:30, and I miss like an epic campfire bonding session that only happens when you live in a converted Hallmark trailer?
Well, nobody gets
but who
screamed at
else
that
is
night.
at that campfire? Because everyone else is staying in hotels.
I don't know. I guess I'll just recline the chair in my truck like I always do because my wife doesn't want a lawn ornament. And
Yeah.
It's like saying, like,
I'm
oh, you
on
never
her
know who you'll
team.
meet late at night in a dark alley. Like, yeah, you do never know. It might be a fun guy. I'm not gonna roll those dice. Like,
I'm with Jackie on this one. I'm sure you've been like, but it fit in the stables. We just rolled it in there. Nobody'd see it.
you know what sucks? I have
but-
two trailers already. I've got a short one and a long one, and it's
But
really
you could
hard.
put this one on the other ones. Just
I didn't
roll
even
it
think
up.
of that. We could stack trailers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, trailer on a trailer. Trailerception.
It's a pretty hard.
This is the worst idea you've had in a
sell to
long
make,
time.
Yeah.
This
I-
is-
And you fly through
just
the
for
air
that-
on a lawnmower.
But I feel like you should be encouraging him just for that reason. Like, I mean, think about the stories he'd come back with having done this.
He wouldn't
Right.
come back.
hey, welcome to the
You can't go
PKA
with
episode.
Jackie, it'd be
Live
PKA with
170.
Jackie, and she'd be like, "They got him. They got him. It was all a ruse. They have him in Mexico now. They want $1 million.
uh,
Oh man,
They
Yeah,
got him.
that would
I
suck.
can't imagine
Bad
something
people.
worse than living in something like that. That would be awful.
It's my idea of a cool week or two, or month or two. Yeah.
I hope you do
Felt
it.
so bad.
because that would be very
Right?
funny.
That's
to
what
hear
I'm saying.
about.
Like, you're gonna get a story out
All
of
right.
this.
Cheers. Like I need you to produce PKA January 4th through 12th. Just saying.
All right, so You could totally do it and build the thing and then sell them because you're not going to enjoy it. After you do it once, I think you're going to be like, that was an experience.
Dude,
I
would enjoy it. I'm built for
Sure.
that. I remember when I first started camping, I set my tent up in the backyard just because like I hadn't gone camping since I was a Boy Scout and I hadn't been like the lead on camping ever. So I set up my tent in the backyard in Apex and I started sleeping out there just to make sure like my stuff was warm enough. You know, I didn't want to be in the middle of nowhere when I first tested that out.
Yeah.
After like 5 days, Jackie's like, you're going to have to come back home. You know, the neighbors are going to get the wrong idea. You can't sleep. You can't live in the tent because I liked it so much. I just slept in the backyard every night. It was like I really liked it.
Can you imagine the conversation your neighbors were having where they're like, Jesus, what did he do?
Yeah, right?
5 days out there. Holy
5 days. He lives in a tent. He has 4 sleeping bags on.
Should we offer something?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. His wife would not like that. You know, no.
I
Don't
loved
get
it.
involved.
I loved it. What is this?
Oh my God, you got one, Chiz? 22 grand for this '07 Sprinter. Let's see these pictures. Oh God, is that a mosquito net? What is that? I see a propane tank of some kind.
Man, if you drop 22 grand on this, you're going to be out of luck when all these, claims start rolling in. And you have your
this looks
van
like,
life.
Oh, look at that! It's got room on the back to throw like your paramotor and all kinds of gear, like on the back. All kind of shelving there for clothes and.
It should be mandatory when they do this to disclose how long they lived the van life for. Was this like a 2-week like safari he tried and was like, this isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna work? Or is this like a man who really loved it? I think that should be part of the sale description.
Dude,
It should be.
God.
well,
Give it
one
some
thing
character.
I'm
Bought it
happy
less than a
about
year
is I
ago.
feel like what Chiz found accurately describes what a van life van is like. You know, it's not first class, right? This is like construction grade plywood. No one grabbed any furniture grade plywood when they put this thing together.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this one is. Do you see the picture? It's like a stove with some rusted backsplash. Like, what am I looking at?
Just, it's a piece of shit, is what it is.
It's like
What
they
you're
found some.
looking at, Woody,
Yeah, I
is
don't know what you're
rusty
That's your
backsplash.
stove.
I
That's your
thi-
stove. That's
But
that
there's the
backsplash
stove
is
and the backsplash. I swear they're like, oh, this
Spice cabinet in the back?
Well, that's so you don't burn the thing down.
This
You have to have
tin roof,
insulation.
this perfectly good tin roof blew off a barn. You know?
That's
I
what it
can
looks like,
decorate my
honestly.
fan with it. I
Wait,
don't know.
look at this bed. Look at this bed. Do you think that any of us could lay horizontally in a van?
Absolutely.
No, there's
Absolutely.
no way.
I could. I would be happy.
It's like 5 feet.
I would
Slept
lay
in a
in
lot of
there
cars.
and look at my kayak paddle on the ceiling as happy as can be, thinking about the morning's adventures.
Oh, man.
No, I'd be upset with whoever peer pressured me into going on a van trip.
Yeah.
It's
Are you
It would
sure
have to be a
that
very
renting
cute girl.
Are we? It's thousands and thousands of dollars to rent a motorhome.
it looked like it was like $1,500 a week baseline, but then the miles started racking up at like 25 cents a mile after
Hey, Taylor,
some small amount.
You know what the worst nightmare of all time would be?
Huh.
If Chiz found a sponsor who'd hook us up with an RV and they wanted me, you, and Woody to make some sort of brown country road trip, and the three of us had to live together in a van.
That
I'm
would be sponsored also by 100% food. What the boys will be consuming the entire trip. On the bright side, that should plug them up so pooping won't be an issue till they return.
I'm not
not
bad
a
to sleep with now.
flaxseed.
I snore on an Olympic level. That was the thing. But with the BPAP machine, I am the most non-snore. No, it's very
Yeah,
quiet.
now it just sounds like a low pressure air compressor going on.
No, all goofs aside, it's super quiet. You can't hear it, and you can't hear me. It's fixed the
Maybe
problem.
Chiz could see if he would rent you this van for a period of time at a reduced rate compared to what you're going to get in the commercial side of things.
So Chiz buys this '07 Sprinter. He lives in it, but he rents it out to us for a
No, I
limited
wasn't
time.
thinking Chiz would buy. I thought you would perhaps contact the buyer and see if he could set something up for you guys. But
Maybe
and
he'll
that would
take
be
it off the
advertised.
market and hook me up with it for a little while.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! Look at the Econoliner he just linked here. Now this, you could slap in this. Oh, that green.
Yeah, whether they want to or not. Yeah.
Oh, that's
man. No, this is just as stupid. This
This
just
is a
as
much
stupid.
better bed though. Like this.
Do you
is a
like
much
the
better
bed more?
I prefer this bed.
Doesn't really
I don't
look
know
like
how I
built to
feel about the
move.
walls.
Can you imagine how loud drive sound is anytime you're not on the highway?
The walls are
Where
like
every
shingles.
little stop and go is rattling, bed rocking all over the place.
Oh my god.
Man, this would be uncomfortable.
Oh, this.
Right?
Where's your
this
sense
so
of
much.
adventure? This is the
All right, now this
60s reincarnated.
$62,000 van. All right, now this is a different story. This $62,000 van, you could probably get something in this. It's got some. This isn't that bad.
See, the only way you're getting in this van still is if it's with you who understands what's going on. I don't think you're
gonna be
bringing
with
new
armpit
gals
hair.
back.
This
No, you can
guy's
get
got
some hippies
money.
in there.
This freaking barbecue is like $1,000. Those green
Well,
eggs.
Yeah, but it's a green egg the size of an ostrich egg, so you can cook like one hamburger in it really well.
Oh,
Yeah,
look,
that's
look
true.
at the last picture. That's the dream.
It's the nightmare.
No,
That's
oh, come on.
Freddy
Look.
Krueger is in there.
That's the nightmare.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, and he's on a beach with it, like that. I can't tell you how little,
Look,
how
I
unappealing.
may not
this
be the
is.
most adventurous guy and old timer or anything like that, but I enjoy traveling, getting out. This would be the worst way to see anything. You kidding me? Like maybe
Really?
if this were an affordable thing for a guy in his early 20s who this was affordable and he could do this, maybe you could like sell it for a period of time, but like anyone of any like means at all, like this would be terrible.
I have
Oh,
one
yeah.
friend with a van, one friend with a trailer, one friend
Why?
that wants a van, and like this is an
What is it?
appealing.
The water?
Like why
Still
is
in
it
the
here?
area? Are they drinking
It's their
something?
wives.
See, like,
No.
they're
You
getting-
have
I
a
see,
real
they're not
beast-a-gore at home for you to prefer living in a van on the road somewhere.
they're not running
That's
to
all it
something.
can
They're
be.
running
And
from
I'm,
something.
It
Okay?
has like a fan in the ceiling that makes the air inside just like the air outside. It's just constantly circulating. It's like protected tent camping. I'll admit it's luxurious. It's glamping, right? Glamorous camping.
What are you drinking over there, Taylor?
This is Dewar's White Label.
You know how many
That is-
bottles of that I would need if I lived in a van?
Yeah, right. Seriously.
You would need plenty. Like, I would rather go to the dentist, I think, than go camping in one of these vans.
If
Because
You're
that's
breaking up
over in a
again.
couple hours, and then I can go back to my home. Oh, shit.
If I had to choose between living in a van for a week and driving from like Northeast Georgia to, let's just say, it would be about to Arizona. A week is like to Arizona and back, like Grand Canyon and back. Go to Nevada. If I had to choose between that and going to the dentist every day and getting a root canal, I would choose 6 root canals over
I-
6 days in a van.
Let me just jump in for a second because I think you guys are on it for the show, and I respect that. We all sometimes take
No.
our real selves and amp it up a little bit because
Nope.
it's funnier.
Nope. This is 100% me.
You wouldn't really choose a daily root canal.
I would choose a daily root canal.
That is
over-
crazy. You don't
They
think
don't
like there's
hurt
not a
that
part
much.
of you that thinks it's fun?
Let's be realistic. You wouldn't do a daily root canal.
I
You would
would
do a
do a
daily.
daily-
You would do a daily cleaning though.
I would do a daily root canal. It takes an hour and it doesn't hurt, and they give you some drugs afterwards. I would choose a daily root canal. It's 1 hour of uncomfortableness, and some Tylenol 3, which is a good time. And
You're just factoring in the drugs.
Yeah, I really think this is about the
that's part
Tylenol
of
3.
All right,
about
remove
Tylenol
the
3 in a van?
Tylenol 3 complete. All right.
Wait. Hey, let me just throw this out there. What if we had a daily root canal and Tylenol 3, or a van and Tylenol 3?
Daily root canal, Tylenol 3.
Ah, wow.
I would have to be
Wow.
on heroin
No,
to enjoy
no.
the van life.
Kyle, I bet
You'd enjoy every raindrop,
Another
Kyle.
point to this too. Like, it's fun to stay at these places and go to these places, but it fucking sucks driving as traveling long distance. I'm not a big fan of that in the first place. The idea of a van traveling right off the bat kind of throws me a little bit.
Yeah.
Now the
Oh,
idea
not
of like
me.
living all
That
the
to
time in
me-
the same van you're traveling in seems even worse on some level.
I have done a lot of long distance driving. I have driven all over the fucking country, thousands and thousands of miles. I put like 180,000 miles on one vehicle doing this shit. Just so much fucking driving. I know what it's like. It's awful. You get up with I'd be doing all the driving. I'd be doing all the driving if it's me and a girl, or if it's me and like a couple dudes.
You don't think
I'm
you
gonna
have to
be
worry
doing
about
all
that,
the
so.
driving. I'm gonna get out my neck and go clunk, 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 clunk. and I'd be like, oh God, my back. I wish I had my foam cylinder roller to like pop my back, but there wasn't enough room because we're living in a van.
Yeah, we couldn't scoot aside the buckets far enough to fit my foam roller.
You do have to give up things like foam rollers and
I'm telling you,
Toilet paper.
I'm not amping it up a bit. I can't tell you how unappealing the van life is to me. It just I'm 100. That's just 100% honesty. Like if we were off the show right now and you're like, no, Kyle, for real though, I got the van. Let's go.
The van life topic didn't go anywhere. I'm trying to make heads or tails of it. So I guess what I'm thinking is I did the exact opposite, right? In my van life days, I was working during the day, going to school at night, and I got married at 23, I think. I had kids at 26. And, so I was the opposite of this. And on the other hand, I can see the other side of it too, and I just it to me it's a popular YouTube genre, so therefore that's my insight into what the kids are doing now. What is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? It's like a badass gap year to me.
It's a bad idea.
I think you should live
because you got to buy the van, and those vans are expensive. I think like
they make it.
I like the idea of like doing something ridiculous and going on an adventure, like backpacking through Europe or something.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like some sort of in the same cloth of ideas.
Any of you guys done
following
like
the Grateful Dead around for
never.
a year, whatever. Following a band from tour date to tour date. If you're really into it, that'd be fucking cool. I remember when I was like 20, like I was talking to my 19, 20, something like that, talking to my roommates about like going on a crazy road trip, and we were like plotting this ridiculous like path throughout the contiguous United States where you'd hit like the most amount of like landmarks and states and stuff, and we had this idea of like renting a van or a bus or something like that, doing it. That sounds fun too, but you gotta have some bitches. I was like, the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, I don't want to be in a van with two Lithuanian dudes touring the country. That's just going to get old. They're going to be arguing back and forth in Lithuanian, and I'm just going to be sitting there awkwardly like fucking driving. It's just not going to be cool. If you had some girls involved, but it'd have to be that. You got to have girls involved or it's no fun.
Yeah, suddenly you have some girls involved, and then you're like, there's three couples. You need a little bit more space with three people doing this and girls involved. Before you know it, you need a house somewhere. Because you've run out of fucking space in your van to do this. I don't know, man.
I hear you. I don't know.
A decent-looking chick who's down with living in a van with you. Get back to me. It's not gonna work.
It's hard, right? But it's definitely like one of my friends is doing that. He's got a good-looking girlfriend, and they're gonna go do this thing for a while. We'll see how it works out. But I don't know. There's a certain. I think it's better than backpacking. Right? Because it opens up your horizons a little bit. Backpacking, you're very limited. And it's like, yeah, it turns out I spent like 9/10 of the time in Paris, just in that same goddamn city, because who wants to walk to Versailles or I don't know. But with the van life, it's like, yeah, we went to Monument Valley. We woke up with the sunrise against the giant rocks for over a while. Then we went to San Diego and stayed on the beach for a bit.
So where do you shit?
Got old.
Where do you poop? Where do you shower?
Yeah.
Okay. So typically in van life, they like the more isolated areas, and they just poop outside. A bucket with a bag in it, and you throw the bag away or whatever.
Or save
some people
strike one.
Yeah, right. Some people have like a cartridge toilet that they'll put in the van. But to me, that's not appealing. I would rather find a restaurant or a non-populated place than to carry my poop around. That to me is not something I'm down for. But yeah,
so there are bags of shit sitting in
though.
the woods all across this great nation of ours because of this.
Do you need a bag? I don't know. When I'm hiking, I
put it in a
just
bucket.
bury it. I just think girls might want buckets, because they're so classy.
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, unless you
Milady, the spackle bucket.
got here your baby wipes. I'm sure your ass won't smell horrible when we fuck later.
And we're on a rationing system, so a 1, a 2, a 2. It's like,
yeah. I hear you. I understand these things.
we have to make it to Albuquerque on this 6 more swipes.
I'm not going down on you ever again.
But the whole van life,
like Toys R Us.
traveling
little
house,
bits of toilet paper
RV
stuck to her
thing,
asshole.
no appeal to anyone here.
So,
Oh
what did you
no.
say?
No, I'd like to live in a
everyone
house
finds
apartment.
this completely unappealing. This idea
Yeah,
of
looks awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need if you had a $250,000 RV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go. As long as somebody else drives that bitch and parks it and stuff. But like that's the only way I could do it, because like I've been in one of those things before, and it's like a home away from home. Those things are legit with like
Yeah.
full-size toilets and like not a full-size shower, but like a shower that you could get clean and be satisfied with your cleanliness. Like you're not gonna like la 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 la. Wings would never fit in it, but we could get clean. We'd be happy, go about our fucking day. And if you can put a full-size queen bed in those things, you turn sideways, full-size television, you get satellite, you know, everything you could want is there.
I know a guy who lives in the trailer version of that. Like you tow it. Not a
Yeah, that's
permanent
fine
trailer,
too.
but you know,
Yeah,
the
that's
ones
cool.
that require those big diesels when they're 5.
I would prefer, you know, the Big Daddy model, the
Yeah.
John Daly special thing that he has, you know, the golfer.
Uh-huh.
He showed his off on like a redneck version of Cribs, like CMT behind the man kind of show.
You've talked about it a couple times.
Yeah, it was real cool. You know, I could do that, but I can't live in a van. I couldn't do it.
Thing is,
No.
the van, if you're 25, you can actually do that. You can't have a $250,000 RV. That's just, it's not something you can have.
Could you rent one for like
No.
$5,000 a month? You know,
No.
I don't know.
It's more than, so I looked into it. I've looked into either doing a conversion, because the thing is, I go on these little trips, right? Like in January, I have a week coming up where I'm going to this paramotor. They call it a fly-in, but you drive there and fly together. And it's like, oh yeah, everyone shows up with their RV. Some people have converted trailers, and I thought about like doing it. My wife is totally not down for it. The biggest obstacle is it becoming a yard ornament, you know, where like, yeah, I've just got an RV like sitting in eyesight, slowly corroding away in my yard, you know, and it's not mowed well around. Anyway, so, but I looked into renting one, which solves that problem, right? Renting their cheapest RV, the ones that are kind of just converted vans, is something like $2,500 a week. And I was
Jesus.
just like, fuck, like hotels are cheaper.
Yeah.
So,
And like if you're a 25-year-old who has enough money to buy a $250,000 RV palace, like that's still stupid. Like you're not building any equity in this. It's a vehicle at the end of the day. It's not gonna like it's depreciating each and every day.
but what if you're
Like-
a 25-year-old who can scrape together 10 grand for a van and then put 2 more in it? So now it has like mattresses folding off the side and some solar charging and a gas stove and
Like,
a heater and stuff. And
I mean,
I saw
but
some of
still,
this-
if you got 10 grand and then let's say you got 12 grand, like that scenario, that's enough to get a decent apartment for a while and give yourself some time to find work and get your money situation figured out. Like, and then you have a toilet and you have shower and you have a real kitchen, and I don't know.
you
It's just, there's
don't
no
have
world.
like an experience that makes you emotionally richer.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some of this when I was doing when I
Maybe.
did their outdoor rock climbing. I see some of the people who are traveling from place to place, and they often have some of them have these converted van things. A lot of them don't, but some of them do have this type of thing, and you do see that occasionally. And it's never really appealed to me. I get the sense of, you know, you can go do what you love and you can live, you know, kind of cheaply for this, and you can see all these places, and you know, you're traveling across the U.S. doing all this great climbing sites, and that's kind of cool sounding. But I think it takes a kind of special kind of person to make that work. So I'm kind of surprised this is a bigger movement. I haven't really heard much about it. Like, is it that widespread? I'm kind of
I know,
surprised.
it's hard to tell,
vegans,
right?
where
'Cause
that's all they talk about.
You might be right.
Have I mentioned that I live in a van?
So, so I'm laying on my back, healing my broken leg, and
time.
like I watch a van life video, then another one, and suddenly my feed is full of it. In my opinion, it's like the '60s again, and it might just be I have a very distorted look on the millennials, and there's very few of them living van life.
Jesus, I suppose. I mean, I don't know what the size of these channels are, but I suppose that's one way to fund it.
would you date if you're a girl? Imagine. Probably
Okay,
not hard. Would you date
Wait, you
a
treating
guy
me like
who-
I'm filthy here.
Hey, I didn't address anyone.
I'm an
in
expert on this too.
particular.
Don't worry.
You just went straight to it.
I did say, oh god. So I'm a girl. Would I date a guy who lives in a van?
Yeah.
Um,
So I live in a van. I'm
I've-
35. I'm divorced, and I live in a van down by the river.
See, now that's the thing. It's the rest of the picture, right? What if this guy is 25, seems to have his head on straight, but also has a sense of adventure? And it's like,
Ted Bundy type, good looking.
You know, it's like he's going to be
Strong arms.
Superficially charismatic.
superficially charismatic and smart, right? I honestly think IQ
Likes
is
to,
a huge
A
predictor.
rapist
animals
wit.
IQ is a predictor on success, right? I see
Rapist
people do.
wit.
I did poorly in high school, right? But eventually, somebody with the right personality characteristics are going to land where they're going to land. And you know, so if I see potential in this guy, even though he wants to go rock climbing for 2 years, then I would give. I might, yeah.
No, if I were a
Someone to help
chick
me with-
and some dude is like, "Oh yeah, like I'm so glad we've been getting along at the bar and having fun. You want to come back to my place?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, maybe, sure. I'm not usually that kind of girl."
Oh, it's right out here.
You know. And then he goes, "All right, well, I have to run back and tidy up real quick. It's on 6th and Hanley. It's the Ford Windstar in British Racing Green." I'm gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna get the constable, you know, to escort me there." Like, no, there's not. No, I would not be cool as a chick dating a
Step
dude
in,
who
my
lived in a
lady.
van.
He
No
like
way.
hits the button and the door slides open automatically.
Oh,
Wah.
handicap access.
You know-
Take my hand and help me in.
Who's the guy who's like the best free climber to have ever lived? He's at the top of his game right now. Alex
Spider-Man.
Alex
Alex
Hammond.
Honnold.
Honnold? Okay. Does that guy slay or not? Like, I don't know. Like it.
He probably does not get good feedback when finger banging girls with those rock,
Yeah.
rock climber
God.
hands.
With
They're
those
like,
claws.
"Oh, yeah. Ow, Jesus!"
Did your blister just pop
Takes a special
inside
type of
of
girl.
me?
She likes a
Get some
strong
lotion.
He likes a
Blister
very
just popped
strong
inside
pressure.
of me.
His
I bet he
hands
can get
must
some
be.
weird positions though, right? Like he's hanging on to the ceiling fan, like inverted and stuff, like doing crazy stuff. Like he's probably got those grips all over his bedroom, so he can like get into some crazy Spider-Man position. and
Bedroom?
fuck.
You mean the econo line? Like,
Yeah, in his
yeah.
in his van.
He lives in a van.
I'm telling you, man, nobody's getting pussy in a van. It's that's what George Costanza's parents had. Remember that when they had the van? If you see the van
Did
a
they-
rocking, don't come a knocking or whatever. Like, I don't see this being a thing. Like if
Huh.
if a hot chick invited me to her van, I would be like, let me just get us a hotel. Like I
Get
really don't
out.
fuck in
That would
the
be a
van.
showstopper for you.
I wouldn't fuck in her van.
An hour ago, you were
would
talking about the joy of sex outdoors.
Outdoors, where I know
my
that some
turn.
masked
You can
man
open the
can't
window.
start
You'd be fine. You
accelerating
just
away.
like the outdoors.
That's all I need to do is get caught fucking in a van. That's the other thing. Is like I don't think it's legal to be fucking in that van.
I bet it is. I'm not really sure.
I think if you know the constabulary walks by, Johnny Laws are knocking on the window. All of a sudden, you're a sex offender for fucking in your van down by the park because there's a playground adjacent. 80
Well, they are
meters
all
of-
able to black out the windows. They need to sleep in. But
Oh, now it's a safety hazard.
no, they make
To
special
step into my
curtains.
dark van.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
No one
do.
can see
I
in, don't
certainly
worry.
get this. I think it's living in a van makes you
Would you take
ugly.
the inside
Can you get
windows?
laid? Yes, but you're playing this on veteran mode, right? I think that's the takeaway.
Okay, I'll buy that.
And I think, you know, like any of these short term, you call them a gap year. I haven't heard that expression before, but I think I know what you're talking about. I do think that that's an interesting thing to do, and the people who follow through with those and go do something kind of weird like that are gaining something in their lives. I think that's something pretty
Emotionally
cool.
richer.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely never appealed to me to do that, but it does. You know, I'd prefer to travel with actual money, so I could do things like I wanted to do and take planes as opposed to fucking, you know, driving or whatever the hell it's going to be for this stuff. But
Uh-huh.
at the same time, I could see that being kind of cool for a while. But I'm kind of curious, how long does van life go on for? Is this like they're doing this for a year or two, or is this like 10 years later they're still on publishing van life episodes? You know, whatever.
No, I don't
You
think
got
anyone
Van
goes
Man
past
tatted.
2 or
Van
3
Man.
years. I think if they do it for a whole year, they've done it. If they do it for 3, then they lasted
Van.
more than most.
Man.
Yeah, and I'm afraid everyone's gonna like try to analyze me like I made a big mistake. I feel like if my life was a 20-sided die, I rolled like an 18 or a 19. When you do that, you don't re-roll. Like I'm pretty happy with the way things went, but it doesn't stop me from being like, I wonder what the other rolls were like. You know, what's Woody like if he had 2 years in
Wonder
a
what
van?
slumming it's
Well,
like.
hey, I've said it before. You're only one tragic accident away from being a van man.
Jesus
it sounds like to me.
Christ.
Just
Yeah, right.
one 10-star opening sequence away from hitting the roads. I'm telling you, you got to watch 10 Star. For those who
I
are
do.
listening,
I wanna see it.
I recommend 10 Star very strongly. Like just give it. It's on Amazon. It's fucking free. Give it 10 minutes of your time. You're gonna get latched. fucking good.
I've got Amazon. But anyway, I'm glad we covered that as a topic. I appreciate
Yeah, me
it.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not for me. I
want to look up how prevalent it is now. Like, I'm curious because
it can't be very prevalent, but I'm sure that it's
Dozens
like the
of
vegans.
folks are doing this.
There's
8 or 9 people.
Some of them optionally.
There's a popular subreddit for it that if the first page only goes 9 days old.
Let's look at these degenerates.
Yeah. I haven't looked yet, but I bet they don't look clean.
You think the people who post on van life aren't clean?
One issue is that
this is what I would not. The second post on there right now is mother and daughter convert old VW bus. Are they traveling together? Because that would be immediate. That would immediately kill any gap year if you're doing this with your parents.
Too many of these are YouTube
both.
videos, so they're not like right for the show. But like, look at this
ugly
thing.
van.
They take the van, they put like wooden siding. This guy doesn't know how to trim, but whatever. They live in.
The mom doesn't either.
Looks nice.
I went to top
Oh.
all time and then just opened all the images. The second all time post is just moved in. Been living in my van for 3 weeks now, full time. Learned a lot in that time and had to make some additions, mostly for warmth.
Yeah.
Does that sound like someone having fun? That they realize like 2 days in, I've never slept in a fucking van before.
My friend who has the van, he just figured out heat. So first of all, before he put all the paneling on, he insulated it. I saw progress pictures. So, you go to Home Depot and you buy that like foam board stuff, and he's got insulation on every wall, ceiling, floor, etc. And then he has like an alcohol stove, and I don't know if you can use those without dying like all the time.
Yeah. I had one of those in my boat. Yeah, those are legit. They have those on boats. Yeah.
Does it not give off carbon dioxide and kill you?
I don't think so. Mine
Road
didn't.
trip.
He says he can heat his van for.
Topics. I like that. A call back to the suicide. This is just the next step of that. This is the U.S. version of this.
He tested it last night.
If you turn it one notch above high, that's euthanasia mode.
He says last night he tested it. So this is North Carolina in almost mid-November, and he can heat his van for $1.58 a night. So next to free, basically.
Okay.
Did he also like put a
His
pet in
van.
there just to see if like it lived through the night, or is that different?
Canary.
He tested it with himself.
He's got a canary.
And
Always keep Mr. Cluckers right
dude,
here.
I envy his van. I wish I had his van.
Finally getting lucky in the back of my van, and my van canary freaks out. We gotta get out of here. I'm sorry. I'm getting dizzy already. Wake up. We gotta get out of here.
But I look at
Come on,
this.
honey. Come on.
Oh, no,
not
that's
again.
the other thing I
Not
gave you
again.
because I'm a van
I went
man.
back to his van.
now
I
the
was willing to go
killer.
into his van, and then I fell into a coma from the fucking fumes in his van. He raped me. Like, this is what's gonna be coming out.
You went Cosby.
All of a sudden, you're the Windstar rapist. You're no.
Van life gets dark.
So no, that one's. I like what Taylor did. Go to the top pictures because you kind of see what they're like on the inside.
Yeah.
And every so often, people don't use a van. I saw a guy do it with a Toyota Prius. I was like, what? But
What a fuck.
Calling your van minimalist because it doesn't have enough space to put a bunch of stuff in there is like saying I'm having a minimalist lunch and take a picture of a Lunchable. You're not. You're using what's provided, the little amount of space. I can't imagine this. Has anybody out there lived in a van? Please tell us, you stopped and when you got off drugs. And
Anybody been on hard times before? Things got real rough. Yeah,
there's
living in a van.
there's probably dozens of people in Appalachia right now like, someday I'm getting out of this van.
YouTube.
I ain't living here forever. They're on the right track, but it's a bunch of, San Francisco hipsters
Going the
who
other
are
way.
like, you know what, man? Like, why do I need more than a van? So they're like,
That's
Suicidal group
dude.
passing in the night.
I started looking at Eurovans. So Volkswagen, of course, they make the VW bus.
one of my
Everyone's seen
buddies
it.
had one of those.
What
Yeah.
you might know, well, some people might not know, is a lot of them came equipped with like a sink, a stove of some sort, and the tops popped up and became a little tent. And I was like, this is ready made. I should maybe I'll do this. And it would save me the whole conversion, and it'd be less of an eyesore, and it might have some resale value. And I just thought it'd be easier to get past the spousal unit. But they're expensive. Like the new ones are like 85 grand. The old crappy ones are like 17 grand. Like, you hold your value way too well.
I got it. You rent a U-Haul like on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You just retrofit the fucking back of it, and you just let the door up a little. You can grill out in there. You can set up a bed. That's how you do this. You haul it up.
Rent a U-Haul.
Rent a U-Haul. Yeah, they're cheap.
But you're supposed to build a room in the back of it.
Yeah, you build a room. You disassemble when you're done. You don't drill any holes.
What if the room was solid and I just used the tractor to like slide it into the U-Haul every time I
like
rented?
Modular. It's
sell those.
there. Like a couple bunk bed, stove, little TV over there stuck to your feet.
Put the pallet
Sounds
forks
like hell.
on there.
Sounds like hell. Man, the things I value in my day-to-day life are cleanliness is number one. When every day, like if I wake up and then go and do like some yard work, whenever I do get that shower, I can't tell you that's the best thing about that day is that hot shower and the soap and the suds and the shampoo and the loofah and getting all scrubby-dubby and then coming out and drying off and being like, I feel so fresh and clean and my asshole doesn't itch. Like, you're talking about the opposite of that.
Wet wipes get you there. Wet wipes will get you there.
No, I need a good cleaning. Like
one
I'm
wipe,
on a
Charlie.
much worse diet than you. I'm eating 2 or 3 gallons of ice cream a week.
I lost everybody.
It's a Jamaican mudslide. It's rough.
And you need the confidence knowing there's a shower with plenty of water nearby. Because you want to feel clean. You don't want to feel like you're going to bed that night in the back of a fucking van with a poopy asshole.
Here's a topic right here. Thoughts about the hashtag van life movement sweeping the damn nation. It has 14 upvotes. You can't deny this movement.
Yeah, we're sweeping the nation.
Uh-huh.
They should rename this movement. You can't tell me what to do, Dad.
The two people I know have their act together, but
I bet their parents aren't happy with it.
No.
Well,
Where's Mark?
Like 72 years old. Thought you'd get it together by now.
It sounds like the Step Brothers 2. It's just like I can't. Man, I couldn't get. I get it. I guess but for me, it has to be like an adventure you're going on. It can't be like a new way of life. Like it can't be like, oh yeah, he's parked outside.
Point.
Like,
that's what
this for 6 months. We're gonna travel to these locations and we're done. The van's fucking gone at that point.
It's a road trip. Like I think we're focusing too much on van life and not enough on like the point of the van life, which is like road trip. And, like,
road trip, yeah.
Like we're gonna hit all of these major ski slopes in North America and Canada. And North America, Canada is North America. We're gonna hit all these ski slopes. We're gonna hit all these whitewater rapids, or we're gonna hit all these national parks.
And the two people I know are both doing it that way. One's 50 and owns a home, right? I think he's 50, and something like that. So this is just a way that he does his road trips. You know, we used it last weekend when we went to the beach and it was too windy to fly back. We all loaded up in his van, and it was kind of neat. It had a mattress. It was fun. The other one's young, and just like he lives at home, and now he's going to augment that with long road trips. And that's not too much different than we're talking about. Neither of them are living the homeless lifestyle. They're just dabbling in it.
First guy,
But I mean, I guess you could live van life as you're waiting for your parents to pass away and take their house. I mean, I suppose this is one way. This is thinking long term, really, on some people's part.
Get a little fed up after a while. You invite them in for a dinner on the alcohol stove. Problem
That's
solved.
right.
It's on the
Jesus
alcohol
Christ.
stove.
Just hang out in there. Why are you taking that bird with you?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna wash him. You just hang out in the van for
Where's Polly going?
35 to 45 minutes. I'll be back.
I don't know.
If you start to feel sleepy, don't fight it.
I admire both of them for their sense of adventure. You know, it's really not a lot different than me. I hiked on the John Muir Trail, right? I just did a portion of it, but the people who did the whole thing, beginning to end, it's like a 3-month thing, and you know those people are living in
Who's
the
got
woods.
3 months to hike?
That's impressive to me. Like if you organize your life in such a way that you can spend 3 months hiking, you've done a thing.
That's true. Like if I was like, hey, I'll be back in fucking March. Like, see ya. Like I feel like most jobs are gonna be like, all right, well, you're coming back to no job and you're gonna live in a van. Haha, beat you to it. Beat you to it. I'm already living in it. I want to know how many minutes into that first night as you get in your van bed and you look up at the ceiling 7 inches from your forehead.
Oh, Jesus.
And how long into that, how many exhales before you go, oh, ho, 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 I have made a grievous oversight.
The first part. That's
Yeah,
when-
right.
The first
oh
part.
my God.
It doesn't even have to be yours, right? If there's
No.
2 of you.
Yeah, the first part. That's when you realize you've made a mistake.
Weird thought.
Have you guys seen this van life trend?
No.
Van life? No.
I'm not sure that's a trend. Is this people living in vans?
Yeah.
That's called poverty.
Yeah, that's
well, that's a
homelessness.
trend amongst millennials as well. So
I don't have any friends living that van life.
Van
you know?
life.
I've got friends living van life.
Actually,
I got two.
You
I
do?
do.
The kind of.
Yeah.
So one is young and lives at home, and so van life is kind of like an option he's choosing, right? Because he wants to sort of explore the world.
Yeah,
And-
he didn't choose it. The van life chose him.
Well, he chose that instead of something else, down payment or whatever. He's like his thing is like, hey, I would like to spend the next couple of years checking out America and doing whatever. And I have another friend who's older. He might be 50, and he has a house, but he also has like a converted van that he can do things in, go exploring and enjoy the weekends and stuff. And I think I'm like, is this what the 60s were like? Even I wasn't born in the 60s, and
Can't be true.
right? Well, not in the 1860s. So I just wonder, because I doubt back in the 60s everyone had a Volkswagen bus, right? They just some guy had one, right? And not everyone was getting ass cast or grass, for hitchhiking rides or whatever. Just some people were. There were a couple people who were like, you know what? I'm gonna throw away a couple years and go see the world. And I'm like, are we living in the 60s again right now? Is this a replay of this where it's not quite as extreme as it seemed?
I feel like I've seen some statistics that might go with that a little bit, which is something like the millennials as a whole, which I think I'm booked in that generation kind of, is that
Yeah, me
we're the
too.
least financially successful compared to the cost of housing ever kind of style thing. I can't remember exactly what the statistic looks like, but it's something along the lines of the least able to afford housing or something like that.
I
That
just
goes
saw-
hand in hand with the van life.
I hear you, and I think you're onto something. Also, I could say that minimalism as a trend right now, a lot of people are into minimalism, not owning too much. That goes, that's awfully convenient for a generation that can't buy shit. But I also saw a thing that millennials were buying houses now for the first time in a while, and it has the rent market scared. So whatever.
Yeah, poor people choosing the van life or minimalism because they're like, oh, it's not that I can't afford more than an IKEA shelf. It's that I don't want any more than an IKEA shelf. That's like those. Have you heard of the movement, men going their own way?
Yes.
Where it's like
No,
it's
what's
like
this?
that.
MGTOW or
Where it's a bunch
something,
of
right?
dudes being like, I'm tired of women and fucking feminism and all this. I'm just gonna not date. And it's like, oh wow, you're really showing them. They did, basically to them, all those women just had a product removed from their supermarket that they've never purchased anyway. They're not going to notice. I don't know. It's like when people convince themselves that they're quitting the game when really it's like, no, you were never a participant.
The men going their own way thing is interesting. So I would say if they were to
I
describe
don't know a
what
lot
it
about
is,
it, to be fair.
if they were to tell their side of it, it's like, hey, you know what? This marriage deal is not a good deal for the guy side. A lot of times it's me signing up to support someone for a long time. And then if it doesn't work out, I have to support them even after it doesn't work out because I, of course, was awful in supporting her in the first place, right? That's how a men going their own way would describe it, Poor thing didn't develop any job skills while she was staying at home, So, and they're just like, hey, this is an unfair deal. I'm not going to commit to the lady side. And it's not that they don't want to fuck. They want to fuck. It's just that they don't want to they're like, hey, I'm living life with me as my top priority, is men going their own way. And I look at it and it's not the way I went, and I'm happy with the way I went. But I don't deny any logic in either.
Revolving around something they don't do, it's always kind of silly, I think,
Mm-hmm.
If their self-worth is revolving around the fact that I'm not playing into this marriage game and doing this and that, it's like, all right, then don't. You don't need to make a movement for it. Just don't do it if you don't want to. And you're also treating marriage like you're a statistician talking about generalities when ideally you should just be looking for that one girl, because wouldn't you know it? Billions of men and billions of women have been in monogamous relationships for thousands of years. It's not like it can't work.